We are talking with Brother Reverend Pastor Phil Jackson. Phil, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, my name is Pastor Phil Jackson. I am married to a beautiful African-American woman who I love to life. Her name is Kim Jackson. For 35 years, we are empty nesters. That's what am grounded in. Anything else after that is gravy. And love the Lord. And the work that we do in the lives of young people is through our Firehouse Community Arts Center, in which I've been in this work with young people with violent interruptions. I'm from Kansas City to Chicago for the last 33 years, since 1987. And since in Chicago since 93. We bought the fire station in 07. As we've always engaged in hip hop, I wrote a book called The Hip Hop Church, engaged in the arts to be that middle ground to create a passageway to young people to see their own potential and hope. And so we work with 1,500 or so youth a year through our various outreaches, but a concentrated group of about 200 and then 50 a year for our violence interruptions every year. So it kind of goes dwindles down. So we have two arms of our work. One is violence prevention and violence intervention. And our violence intervention is called VIP, and our violence prevention is called Spark Arts.
It's called Spark Arts. Is that an acronym?
Well, it's not an acronym. We're a firehouse, right? And so we say we spark new flames one life at a time. Where fire departments go into the life, go into a building to put out flames. We go into the life of young people to spark flames. Because when a flame is controlled, man, you can cook on that boy. You can make some greens. You can hook up some food when you can get hot. You take a shower. So that's our context, right? Is that young people don't often have permission to be great. They don't need permission to shoot nobody, wild out, skip class, steal a car, but they need permission to be brilliant. And so clearing the fog in such a way where young people can find that spark and move from there.
Can you tell us about the community that you work in? And then also, when you say firehouse, you literally mean a firehouse.
Correct. So we bought a 100-year-old firehouse in 07. It was built in 1915. And we have converted it into an art center where we have and engage in 7 different disciplines: culinary arts, technology, visual arts, audio engineering, film, open mic poetry, MC school, as well as dance. And all these particular disciplines, a few of them have a social enterprise, entrepreneurship connected with it. And so we're in North Lawndale on the west side of Chicago, in which has been considered to be, according to the Chicago Tribune and the Millstone book, that's almost put a curse on North Lawndale, calling North Lawndale America's permanent underclass. And as that has happened, it's almost seemed to be prophetic in the way white flight took place, black flight took place. And I think Lawndale is considered to be third or fourth per area by way of violence. I think it's 45 deaths thus far in 2020. That's the largest it's been in a while, as far as I can remember on the data that just came out earlier. But with all that said, our hope and belief is we see our young people as assets, not as the liabilities that the city may see them as. And so we are engaging with young people between the ages of really 13 to 25. That's the depth of age bracket. We've got them broken off into 13 to 19 is our prevention, and then 17 to 25 is our intervention, violent interruption work that we do. But I love North Lawndale. It's got the most brownstone, graystones in the city of Chicago, like over 2,000 of them, and then we've got 2,000 vacant lots too. So we got a lot of issues on both sides. But man, we have the richness in our people. Golden Meyer lived in Lawndale. Benny Goodman, when it once was a Jewish community. We have several other powerful leaders that also lived in Lawndale,
Father Egan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true, man.
McNamara.
Right.
Yeah. Martin Luther King.
Yeah, Dr. King lived in
Yeah.
in 66. Yep.
Yeah.
My wife was responsible for building the Dr. King Legacy Apartments right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful community, man, and just am cautious of how gentrification is creeping in, and
What makes it beautiful, Phil? Uh-oh, you froze. What is when people read this narrative or hear this narrative of North Lawndale? What is the flip of it? I mean, you mentioned the housing. Uh, what would you say the beauty in the community? What would that look like?
the beauty in the community is the residents. The residents are what make North Lawndale so powerful. There are folks who have been here, 30, 40, 50 years. And there is a commitment towards, here's my bull mastiff, got a little puppy bull mastiff. name is Chance. Cause you take a chance coming to my yard once he gets full grown.
Once he gets full grown, I'm saying.
Right, 100-something pounds. So the people are resilient in North Lawndale. They've been through so much stuff. The injustices of the political system, economic depravity, all of that kind of stuff, educational challenges, and yet folks still rise, still stand. The challenge often is if folks are willing to, how long folks can continue to do that over so many years, and then stay around for the significant transformation of the neighborhood. That's the part that what I mean by gentrification. Also, there's so much crazy untapped potential in North Lawndale by way of the land, by way of the housing, by way of the entrepreneurial, business opportunities per se, all of those things. So that creates a whole nother way of I think other people outside of Lawndale. Oh, here's a great opportunity to take advantage of that in a negative way, and people, my wife and I just bought this house on Sunday. We were looking for a minute. We sold our crib, went to Empty Nest World, 7 grandkids later. Hold on one second. So being able to have house after house being bought from under us with cash, like 4 houses, just cash. So there are people, who are recognizing the validity of the beauty of the physical space and the potential opportunity of what's going to take place here. Even my wife was in a meeting and somebody said, who does real estate, hey, Lawndale is the place to buy, African-American woman, for Airbnbs. If you want to do, she's got a few in Austin. So I say that the people are resilient. I just pray that the people can stay around after all the challenges that oftentimes are faced politically, socioeconomically, and educationally, to see to reap all of their work. You know what I mean? That's sometimes the challenge is folks didn't get what they need to get from their kids at school, and now they're suspect of whether or not they should stay here. So it's just a beautiful place, man. The people, again, make it what it is, and then the physical space and the potential of more stuff. I mean, I'm trying to see how we could bring in a sports bar, but it's a co-op, and the money goes into paying for kids to go to college. So you buy you a beer for $7, but it pays for little Johnny $4 of those dollars, maybe go to pay for little Johnny to get off to college. Maybe you won't just tear the joint up because your nephew's getting a scholarship from Lawndale Sports Bar or something. Man, I don't know. But I don't want to do it to where there is flaming the fuels of gentrification. I don't want to do it and it becomes some tool where folks are like, my wife told me the Firehouse is on a listserv. Like somebody she was looking at a house and it said, this house is near this, and this, and it's near the Firehouse Community Arts Center. I was like, oh no. Wow. Oh no, we are part of the problem.
Wow. but also flipping it, I mean, is also an asset, don't know, you know, and
Definitely, definitely.
you know what I'm saying? Is how the narrative is carried out, you know.
Right, right,
What
right.
I'm
The
saying?
narrative is key. Yep, yep. The narrative is key.
Yeah. Let me ask you this then. So you have people who want to stay and they wanted, you said, waiting it out. What holds them there?
It's a good question. I think the vibrancy of what it means to be in community. I moved here in 93, did youth ministry already in Kansas City, and wasn't a real Londalian until like 98, all because Reba Charles and the work that we did with her son and the challenges he faced and other young people. Then she affirmed you in the community, where I became a Londalian. And so, because I wasn't born and raised here, even though my mom is from Chicago. So I say that if she's saying that to me as a transplant, how much more validity is it with people she grew up with and the community that she's connected with, you know? And so the reason I'm staying here and want to stay here because, man, I've got great history with my friends over this way, and I've got some stuff we've all been through together, and we have supported one another. I can't transfer that, you know, and I want to continue to just trying to, because everywhere I go, whether it's a block club, man, it's like we own this space. This is what we do. We do community. And so even when we do our outreaches with the different hip hop events and outdoor art things that we do, it's always tapping into those traditional groups of people who have been around for so long in North Lawndale that have that level of commitment to the community, that love and that camaraderie that way. So it's something that I think every community in the city of Chicago has a lot of that. So I'm not saying it's something unique only to North Lawndale, but it is one of the key components amidst all the tragedies that oftentimes are only heard about in North Lawndale, you know?
Able to tap into that piece though, right? You're able to tap into, you think it's because of the arts?
I think it's because of our it's a good question. The arts is the entry point. The arts is the entry point of that, of tapping into that aspect of the community. And I think the level of endearment to the young people, you know, I'm not in this position to be anything else other than love on young people from that 12 to 25 bracket. I'm not trying to step up in, you know, in some kind of pastoral thing. This is I pastor young people, and we see North Lawndale as a parish model. So I think the sincerity of that kind of mindset without an agenda, has created, what are you going to do next? You're going to, you know, we just served over 2,000 people for Thanksgiving, fully cooked Thanksgiving meals, you know, and
Right.
and so we didn't have, there's no agenda. Y'all don't got to go to no church. You don't got to love God. It's just about, hey, this is a real need, and you got 15 people in your family, and you ain't nobody working. Let's find a way to support you. And so I think that is one of these kind of things where I think that our longevity, our work with young people, you know, when you work with somebody's kids, whether you catch them as a teenager or middle school, and there begins to be some, hey, I'm gonna go over to the firehouse, or I'm gonna go over here what Phil and them are doing, and it ain't even me, it could be one of our other leaders. It becomes like you become family in the midst of that. No, you're not trying to like use that as some kind of manipulative leverage. It just becomes authentic and real. And you know, young people they're gonna keep it real anyway. Now he lame. They own something. Every time I come over there, they own something. Yeah. And so it's one of those kind of things where we are where we're seeing the effects of that kind of sincere kind of relationships that are built up. And from there, it's given us all kinds of inroads and various things like that, right? So you know, not just love my people in North Lawndale, and we have a particular focus and scope. We don't change too much. I'm not going to do athletic work. That's great and that's powerful. And I played college football, but it's not something that I'm going to. That's not going to be a sweet spot for us. And so, if there is athletic stuff, I'll guide you to that particular area. So, because we're kind of diehard to the arts, and diehard to violence interruption and prevention. Engaging the arts for that cause, it's created an appreciation for that focus, is that kind of single focus, not to be swayed in such a way where we are challenged to be all things to all people, and doing some things that, doing this a little bit okay and this a little bit okay. We're just kind of growing slowly with the capacity that we have with what we're doing. With what we're doing. I think that those are some factors, I think, off the top of my head, as you're asking me, I think that have been key to our connection and longevity here in North Lawndale.
Well, the last question, I don't want to keep you, Pastor, but is there any, well, two questions. Is there any examples that you might be able to share around, I think you kind of gave it an overview around it, but any examples around how the work that you do, particularly or maybe on a block or 2 blocks, has really worked around public safety?
We have a commitment with our outreach advocates and our navigators, being able to engage the neighbors and the residents to be the community again, to be the block again, where everybody will look after everybody. Because a lot of folks are shook because at 12 o'clock noon, you come out the house, they run up and down the street in the car shooting, and they just are going in the house. He's done everything. He's empty. But one of these kind of things where as much as we can do that is preventative, like we do a block party, right? We do 3 block parties this past year with 3 major Lawndale block clubs that have been doing this for 10 plus years. So we got some grant money, and we said, hey, we are, this is the work that we do. You guys have been doing this. COVID hit, you can't get a permit, but CPD said, hey, y'all want to block the streets off in the areas that you do work in? Yes. And so we just got those blocks leaders and jumped it off, while we were trying to connect with the guys that wouldn't come outside because they scared of getting shot. But now their block is blocked off. So that kind of subversive kind of way to connect with cats along that way is one of the ways we do that. Then doing some trips, we'll take some guys out on these destination unknown trips, or we'll take them out on various things like that in order to build community. So now when they go back, there's new memories that they have. No, man, we went paintball, Joe. That was super crazy. When are we gonna go again? They used to shooting guns, but now they're shooting at each other in paintball, and they laughing about it, fun. And so now it's another memory that they want to find again. So we have to have 2 or 3 things already laid out. Oh, we're gonna go to Wisconsin and do such and such, in 2 weeks or a week. So it's just one of those kind of things where, on the prevention end, while we work with these guys, if I'm understanding the question correctly, to be able to curve some things. And we're working with guys. We took them to an auto mechanic place yesterday for them to look at a place where they could actually learn how to build cars and be a career path for them. And it was a classic car, so they was all geeked about the classic cars, and caused them to be thirsty about what it takes to build an engine, what it takes to do a transmission. But it's those kind of things that. So now, when it comes to hearing us for other stuff, they're there with us because they've been together with all of this together with us. So it hasn't been, sorry about that, hasn't been a smoke and mirrors. It hasn't been some kind of illusion. It's been very real. So our outreach advocates are out on the block 30 some hours a week, seeing on average, I think about the 18, 20 guys a week, some of the same guys, some different guys, to begin to cultivate those relationships. And so they know presence is everything. We have a whole phrase: more contact, more impact. So the more we have your number, the more we got your mama's number, the more we're making phone calls, you're not going to get rid of us, right? And so before you think about doing something, it's Friday, right? So the weather's nice. I was just leaving the firehouse there, making phone calls. They're finding where guys are at right now. If there's a birthday party of one of their lost homies, they're going to try to go to the spot where the party might be. I mean, just being able to be proactive as we can, nothing changes. I don't believe anything changes without relationships,
That's true.
And young people oftentimes are relationally resistant because of all the broken promises, inconsistencies. And so our efforts are to create stronger, deeper, long-lasting, committed relationships. But to be real too, we're not trying to sugarcoat nothing while we're walking with you through that. So, man, I went on a tangent when you mentioned that, but I hope I hit some of the.
No, man, you hit all. I think you might have hit my last question. I would say, what is the gift that you like to share with others that they can learn from?
You know, I think staying power. You know, the tenacity of staying in a spot to serve people for a length of time. I mean, I think that too many times the urgency of the time or the urgency of the situation often don't match the tenacity of people staying. So you can't stay. Like a lot of urgency now about racial stuff, and some of my white friends want to like, what can we do? What can we do? Can you stay with us for like 20, 25, 30 years on this journey? Can you help us not get schools closed? Can you help us when it comes to this economic stuff and be with us while we get rejected and while rejection after rejection happens, and not just get shook because, oh, I'm tired. This is too hard. So it is with folks who are indigenous to the community to stay and be there. And it's a long 15-round bout. You know, they don't do 15-round boxing matches no more. It seems like, you know, bugs are not either in condition or they get knocked out too quick. But it's one of those kind of things where if you stay, it's a sweet spot. Then you begin to see the young cat now get married. And one of our young guys got married, moved to Arkansas, took his wife to California for her birthday. I'm like, dude, you were just over here trying to sell weed to one of our outreach workers one time. Like, this is crazy. And now, I'm driving a tractor trailer. But it's like young people lose too many of their friends. So we got some guys who lost 15, 20 friends since they've been together since third grade, and now they're 20-something. But if you're with them for that period of time, you know, not every day, maybe as often as you can, pretty soon it's like, okay, the sense of stability is with these three people that walk with me. And so, I mean, that would be that. And I think, you know, faithfulness, love, and compassion would be the other component.